Like I said here, I only got 6 jars, which is fine. You don't have to have a full batch every time you do it. You can see they're kind of tight inside there. That keeps it. You want to make sure that you got at least 7 jars in there, or 7 jars, I should say, to keep everything nice and tight. An empty jar kind of float on you. And before I put the jars in there, I dumped 2 full jars of water down in the bottom of the canner. And you need that to get the water boiling. You need to create the steam and the pressure in there. So I actually got about an inch or so of water in there. Then there's something in there, like a little rack in there, to keep the jars from actually hitting the bottom of the canner. It's just I got wire one, or this one here is just it just keeps it off the very bottom of the pot where the heat is. Now, if I was canning like pears or something like that, or fruit that I had to put syrup in there, I probably wouldn't do it like this, but since it's just hot water, it's just easier for me. And then so I got about an inch head space in all the jars. Go ahead and put some more down on that middle jar. There, that ought to do it. Okay. Then they make another little gadget like this. This is called a lid lifter. So whenever you put your little lids into hot water, you don't have to burn your fingers. It's got a little magnet on the end of it. See, it's kind of holds your lid on there. So I'll put a lid on each one of them. You can hear the water kind of bubbling a little bit. Okay, we got a lid for all of them. Now we got to put the rings on to hold it. Hold the lids in space. That's all they do, is just hold that lid in its spot. They don't even have to be really tight, because they'll actually seal once you're completed the canning process and it start cooling off. Then that lid will suck down on top of there. Trick is make sure you don't forget to put a ring on one of the jars. I've done that several times. Stuck one in there and thought I had them all on, but I didn't. Okay, so here's basically it. Got the water boiling on there. Then we're going to put the lid on. Lock it in place. And we're going to wait for the steam to shoot out of that little spacer up here. That little breather. Once steam starts pushing on there, then you're going to put this, there's a weight on there, and then it'll cause the pressure to build up in there. You want 10 pounds of pressure. Okay, we got a pretty good boil rolling. You can see that steam's shooting out of that vent. So I'm going to go ahead and put the weight on it. And what's going to do, this is going to seal and that's going to seal. Yep, see, it's sealed up. And now you should start seeing the pressure gauge will start rising pretty soon. What a pressure cooker is, or the canner part of it is, you're actually getting it hotter. By doing it under pressure, raises the boiling hotter than actually boiling. So it's getting super hot pretty well. So the gauge is starting to go up again. 10 pounds. You want to meat is for quarts has to be done for an hour and 30 minutes at 10 pounds of pressure. So, like I said, once I get up to 10 pounds of pressure, then I'm going to control that. I'll have to turn the heat back down again. I'll watch it. I don't want to get too hot. I can't get to too much pressure, but I like to keep it about 10 to 12 pounds of pressure, somewhere in there. And so I'll just monitor the heat for a while. Once it's cooked for about, I'd say 20-30 minutes, and the heat kind of stabilizes it, it pretty well maintains that. And really, you can put it on, once it gets real hot, this stove here that I got, I can put it on pretty well a low, medium to low. I'll just start backing it off, backing it off, backing it off, backing it off, and just, but you got to keep, you don't want to walk away from it. You want to have constantly checking the pressure, monitoring in it, so it don't get away from you, because like this lid is under pressure. If for some reason I would unlock it now, the top would blow up. Wouldn't be very pretty. Spitting boiling hot water all over everything. So it's nothing to take lightly. But cannon's fairly simple stuff. It's just most of the work is processing actually items that goes into the jars. Now, if I was doing I had a lot of meat to do, I actually got 2 canners, and I'll just keep rotating. Like I said, you're locking up an hour and a half, and by that time you can get another batch going and started by the time this one is done. But even once it's done cooking at an hour and 30 minutes, you still have to let it naturally turn the heat off and let it naturally go back down to 0 pounds of pressure. Because if you unlock it, then, like I said, you got a pretty good explosion on there with boiling water. So what we'll do is, you can see that the needle is starting to climb. 10 pounds. I know you can't see it on the video camera, but 10 pounds of this one is right on top. And really, if you buy one like at a garage sale, or if you got an older one, it wouldn't hurt to check your gauge every once in a while and make sure that it is reading 10 pounds is 10 pounds. I've had this one checked at the extension office, 4-H extension office. They used to offer that service. I don't know if they still do. It's been a couple years since I had it done, but when I got it, it was an older one anyways, and I went ahead and took it in and checked it, and it was right. So my other canner that I have is my grandma's, and that thing's, wow, pretty old. So but it's still good, it's still functioning, and I use it quite often. And you can see that this lid's pretty hot up here, so most of this is just water stain from boiling on there. So, but you can see that that's sizzling. The water's kind of steam coming out and getting a little water on there. It's sizzling pretty good right on the lid, so you won't want to be touching that. It's awfully hot. Okay, we're getting close to 10 pounds of pressure. So I want to, once it hits 10 pounds of pressure, I want to check my clock here and put it on an hour and 30 minutes from now. I'll turn the heat off of it. So we have 10 pounds of pressure and climbing. So I'm going to start kind of backing the heat down a little bit here. And I'll just watch it here for a while, and then monitor, because I have to stay with it for, like I said, at least 20-30 minutes here till the heat kind of stabilizes itself, and then I can kind of take my eyes off it for a couple minutes. But you want to be checking on it quite often. So in an hour and 30 minutes, I'll get back with you guys.